Welcome to Show Em The Dore, the only podcast that is absolutely tore up by the recent news of Bob Knight's tragic death. We're going to have a moment of silence. That's enough.
Swing low, sweet
Okay, so if you guys don't know, Bob Knight was a basketball coach at Indiana
and Texas Tech.
Okay, and he was really good. We have a bust of him in our house, which is arguably odd.
It's a story.
There is a story behind it. He might be a poltergeist, but
Now he is.
yes, rip my boy. He was a really legendary basketball coach, and he passed away literally like the reports came out maybe 30 minutes before
We were in the car to come here.
Yeah, and Bob Knight, rest in peace.
He got fired from Indiana for choking a kid,
Well,
and then Texas Tech.
we all have our flaws, but he was like apparently he like changed the game of basketball.
He was so good.
He was influential to the sport.
He's like a top 5-10 coach of all time.
Wow.
Like you think guys like Dean.
I don't know basketball coaches like that.
Oh my gosh, he's the old. Oh my gosh, he's the old Chapel Hill guy.
Oh, Roy. No.
Roy Williams is the more current, but he's also top 10.
Yes.
But before then, it was
I don't know.
Dean something. I think he died a couple years ago. He was so good. Like Adolph Rupp. Rupp from like Rupperana. He was really good.
Oh, is that who that's about?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like these guys are legends. And Bob Knight
You know so much about sports to never talk about sports on this
is
podcast.
one of the greatest basketball coaches of all time. He threw chairs. He was inspirational.
Wow.
And
really?
like they didn't let him come back to Indiana for like 30 years. Like just a couple years ago, it was like Bob Knight's return to Indiana, and they had a big game, and they like kind of honored him a little. But it's
Yeah.
like, I mean, how much can you honor the
How
guy
much
who
you
got
honor a guy who choked a kid?
who choked a kid?
Yeah.
And like they had
Wow.
already given him a warning because he threw a chair at a kid, and then he choked a kid, and that's when they were like, that's the last straw.
Well,
and then
Bob, you can't keep doing
he's
this.
so good that everyone's like, you know?
Yeah.
It's like Rick Pitino,
It's
kind of like no one really
it's
wanted
like if
him.
Alabama, if Nick Saban started throwing chairs at kids, like Alabama's
No,
not firing.
it's like if Nick Saban had a history.
Yeah, of throwing chairs.
This isn't an isolated incident. This is Bob Knight had a problem.
Well, you know, we all fight our demons.
Dude, Coach Jimmy Lake of University of Washington football
Sure.
years ago, went to high school with my mom. They were good friends. He coached UW football for like a season. He was doing well. And then he like pushed a kid on the sideline. And like I saw the video, it didn't look like a mad aggressive push. It was just a push, and they fired him
Wow.
for that.
Was he
So
good?
like, who, the coach?
Yeah.
He was solid. UW didn't have, it was like in between,
Mm-hmm.
where like they're talented now, they were talented 10 years ago. It was like the kind of like, they're getting back there.
Yeah.
You know, they have a brand new coach this year, and he's doing really well.
He's
But
doing
that's
really
besides
well.
the point.
Anyway.
So this podcast is dedicated in memoriam of Bob Knight. May he rest in peace.
Ooh, Bobby K.
May he rest in peace.
It's nighttime.
It's nighttime. So we're going to talk about
We have a lot of
a lot
Vanderbilt
more sports. This is a good week, I'd
This is-
say.
we
Because
have-
I actually have things to say. I'm sure you have things to say about
We have 3 sports.
baseball is what I was thinking.
Okay.
And we just watched the highlights of the football game, and we'll probably talk about Will Levis because that's just funny.
Oh gosh, my goat. We'll get to that though.
To that, what do you want to do first?
Oh, God. You know what? I think because you have basketball and I have 2, I should start with one of them.
Yeah,
I'll start
sandwich
with
me in.
I'll start with football.
Cool.
So last weekend we played Ole Miss in football, also known as the Khaki Bowl. That's a real thing.
Really?
They're our cross-division rival that we play every year. And
Khaki?
Yeah, because like Ole Miss fancies themselves the best school and the second best school in the SEC in terms of like providing for like the workforce, even though it's definitely
The
Florida.
workforce?
Well, like developing professionals, like what universities are supposed to do.
What's the second best academic school?
Florida.
Florida?
Like by far.
Really?
Yeah, like Florida's like top 20.
Really?
Yeah, like
I
Florida's
thought Alabama was like.
Alabama's so bad. They have a really good law school. Alabama academics.
Alabama, I feel like, is good at certain things. I feel like I've heard them in like conversations of like they're pretty darn good.
I heard a U of A student this weekend talk about that their nursing program was very good.
Nice. Coach Keith, when I was like looking at colleges, he was like, you know where you should go, West Coast? And I'm like, where? And he's like, the University of Alabama. You love it down there. And I'm like, no thanks.
I would not want. I toured.
I don't want to go to
You know that I toured Alabama?
Yeah.
Fun fact about all those prospective college students listening: when you tour
Anthony?
Alabama, they take you on a bus. Like most places, when you tour, you walk around the campus.
No, they got a bus.
They had a short bus that they took us all on, and you went around
It's
to
not
the
a
different.
phrase you can say.
What do you mean?
It's a.
I know it's charged, but it wasn't for that purpose.
I know, but you can say it's a small-sized bus.
There's a much better way of saying that. Anyway, it was a microbus. And
Yeah, you belong in that microbus.
and you're on me. So
Sorry, folks. I took my medicine just before this. It's gonna be a good episode.
We were on the bus, and they drive around, and we're like, the students are like, "How's your science program?" And they're like, "Do you know we have a 151-foot rock wall?" And you're like, "That's oddly specific."
That's one of two rock walls I know of.
And you know what the second one is?
Where?
Actually, I don't know what yours is.
The University of Auburn.
Oh, good, yes. So they were like, I was like, that's oddly specific, Mr. Bama. Why is
Mr. Allah?
Mr. Bama? Can I call you Allah? But I was like, why is it 151 feet? And they're like, well, at Auburn they have an 150-foot rock wall, and we're always ahead of them. And I'm like, that's corny. And so like you go around, they don't tell you a thing about academics the entire time. The whole tour isn't a word. At one point they're like, yeah, our law school is pretty good. I know you guys are like 17 and you're at minimum 5 years away, but
one day.
But if you think about law and you want to come here for undergrad before that, we have a really good facility for
Boy, do I
athletics.
have the program for you.
And honestly, I mean, all their facilities are beautiful, to be very clear. And the campus is beautiful. It's just their classes are terrible. Thank you. I appreciate that, King. Anyway, so we played Ole Miss in the Khaki Bowl, because somehow we got to Alabama from that. And it was not a great game. It was in Oxford. Yes, Oxford.
They think they're cool with that.
Yeah, they're
Look
like,
in Oxford,
we're
bro.
the Khaki Bowl.
You got what's his name as your head coach.
Mississippi. Like,
buddy, you're in the state of Mississippi. That's a bottom one state in the union.
The best player to go to the NFL that came out of Mississippi didn't go to Ole Miss. Definitely went to Southern Miss.
Southern Miss.
You know who it is? The best player to ever come out of Southern Miss? You definitely know him.
Southern Miss. Give me a side of the ball. Offense, defense.
It's offense, of course.
Okay.
I think you have his jersey.
Brett Favre. I forgot he went to Southern Miss.
He went to Southern
Miss. And then he really did some bad things with some welfare.
That's after the football career.
You know?
Yeah, you know.
You can still
really
respect the good things.
Everybody's going to hear this on the mic as you're messing with it.
I broke the microphone, and now I have to,
Willem
have
is
my
a terror
ratchet.
to this podcast.
I'm a terror to life, man. I'm kind of a liability.
He broke one of our lights. Today he tried breaking the headphones and the mic.
One of our lights?
He shattered our window. He's broken many a bed.
What lights?
You know what lights. And, next thing you know, he's going to crack the lens, and suddenly I won't be able...
Here's the thing.
One time I cut out one
have
of
a
his
flat
jokes,
tire,
and he
sure.
punched me straight in the mouth, broke my laptop in two, had to go get Apple Care for that.
Have you seen the SNL skit where it's, like, people meeting, like, Bruce Wayne, and it's, like, Chance the Rapper and people, and they're, like, talking about Batman, and he's like, yeah, somebody should do something about Batman. And then Bruce Wayne's like, what do you mean? Like, he does great stuff. And he's like, yeah, like, I don't really know. Like, I heard, like, I saw one time there was this dude robbing a convenience store. Batman came in and broke his jaw in two places. They had his mouth wired shut. And then he took his grappling hook thing and hung him up by a gargoyle by his underwear. And then Kenan Thompson walks up and he's like, you talking about Batman? And he's like, I littered one time, broke my jaw in 3 places, left me hanging by the gargoyle by my drawers. And then he's like, well, he's just providing a service. He's like, yeah, he seems to be in our neighborhood, like, a lot, you know?
Interesting.
I don't even know
I've
how
not seen that SNL skit. I need to be up to date on SNL skits, though.
I watched SNL last night.
I got to go to our VVP studio, though, Vanderbilt Video Productions, because dropping a big bomb here on our podcast, but I'm also going to be the host of a new slant format where we are going to be doing like a weekend update style skit. Weekend at Bernie's. Weekend update style thing, which I'm really excited about.
Who's your co-host?
Connor.
Dude, let's go.
So me and Connor are going to sit up there here. It's going to be a good time.
That's exciting.
Back to Vanderbilt sports. We actually have to get through a little bit of that.
Oh, I did forget about that.
So it was
football.
Not the greatest game.
No.
To start at the end, we lost 33-7.
Yeah.
We start off the game by actually getting some decent pressure before allowing them to like throw a bomb downfield for 40 yards. Jackson Dart's a rather escapable quarterback. Like he has some good mobility. He's not great by any means. He has some good mobility. And it was like, scramble drills are hard for cornerbacks because of the fact that you're literally covering for so many seconds. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like scramble drills are normally like a lot of the calls are like you're supposed to like stick. They're like sticky whenever you do that because you're supposed to stick to the guy closest to you. Yeah. And I don't know which corner it was, but I mean he just got beat over the top, which is the worst place to get beat as a corner.
Makes sense.
And so it was just like, come on, man. We had frequent issues tackling in the middle. Both Quinshaw Judkins, it's a hard name to say, but Quinshaw Judkins, Quinshon, Judkins, and Ulysses Bentley the Fourth, the fourth, son of Ulysses Bentley the Third,
begotten from Ulysses Bentley's.
And Ulysses Bentley the Second before him.
His mother.
They just ran wild in the middle.
And it's not like they're like big and strong or like super elusive.
Quinshaw Judkins should be like a first 3-round pick. He is a good running back. With that being said, it was not as much as him being a great running back as us just kind of missing some tackles.
Yeah, my issue was historically against Ole Miss. The issue for us has been
their deep passing.
They beat us on chunk plays. So like the very first thing in the game where they got that like bomb to take it down to like the 11th or 11-yard line. Makes sense, I've seen it. I've seen it again.
It's even funnier the second time.
Like that's why we lost to him a couple years ago. We had contained them, and then they just break out for like 50 yards, and I'm like, well, there it goes.
Yeah.
And like that's an issue, but that's their style of play where they get big things, and that's somewhere that we haven't excelled at defending in the past couple of years. Yeah. What's different is typically we do a better job on the rest of the game where it's like you run it up the middle, you're going to make a tackle. You're not going to let him get 20 yards down the field first.
Last year's defense
it doesn't take 5 guys.
Yeah, last year's defense had an identity.
Yeah.
It was like we were like one of the best run defenses in the SEC.
Yeah.
We were a great run defense, we just couldn't cover the pass. Yeah. This year we can cover more of the pass. We're still not great in that department, but we're getting better. Mm-hmm. But our run defense.
Why are they running the ball so much?
It wasn't just Anthony Orji. He was great. Don't get me wrong. He's one of the highest rated. I think
he's just a baller.
But
he's
great.
Not the entire,
so it's frustrating because Ole Miss's offense is predicated on the run. They have a lot of those long mesh point play actions where if you have an indecisive linebacker or a weak D line, you have to shoot those gaps in case he hands the ball off, and because it's so long, the routes can develop behind you really much more quickly than other times. And it doesn't work against dominant D lines because they just blow up the play and then you don't have to worry about it. Mm-hmm. But it was just a rough game for us.
Yeah,
it was incredibly rough on offense specifically. Our offensive line did not block very well for Ken Seals and Walter Taylor. We'll get to that in a second. But Ken Seals got sacked 3 or 4 times. He had no time. Our wide receivers, I don't get the all 22 film of the college game, so I don't know if they were getting open or not. I don't know how the concepts were, but it just on offense
wasn't turning.
It was wildly lackluster considering that our offense had actually looked better the past couple games. Mm-hmm. So then I think we put in, I don't know exactly when, but we put in Walter Taylor, who is, I think he's a freshman. He's like 6'7" and really big and strong.
He's about 40 feet tall.
Yeah, he's huge. He's in the backfield just towering over everyone.
Yeah.
And he runs the ball. Like, he is like a dual threat quarterback. I don't feel like we got enough of a sample size to see how well he throws the ball. You can tell that he doesn't, at this point in his career, have the processing of SEC defenses, but like he does what he does, which is essentially run the triple option. He does really well.
Yeah,
he's fast, he's
physical
strong,
talent.
yeah, and so
which is something that we're not entirely used to.
Yeah, like I think that he has like potential to be very good. And Clark Lee has said for our next game versus Auburn this weekend, we are going to be rotating between Ken Seals and Walter Taylor. Huh. So I don't...
Committing to the boy.
Well, he said technically they're both playing.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly.
It's going to be like the old Mike Wright.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Mike Wright and AJ Swan.
Yeah, Mike Wright Swan stuff.
But I think because AJ Swan's still hurt. Yeah. I don't know what happened to him.
Neither do I. It was a while ago, though.
It was a while ago. He's been out for a long time. Also, Will Shepard's questionable.
Oh.
Yeah, like, we're getting kind of destroyed in terms of all of our good players. Just, yeah. The only drive that we scored on was we really committed to running the ball well with Walter Taylor. And then off of that, he had one just beautiful pass to Junior Sherrill. Like, when he threw it, I was like, oh, that's going to be a pick.
That's a pick.
And it was just... because he had just done a pick, like I think the drive or two before, and it was just like I didn't read that they were in zone defense, and it was
kind of underthrew.
Yeah,
and there it is. He just delivered a nice pass to the sideline.
Yeah, I mean,
got it over the corner,
and it was a beautiful catch. And then it was
nice
like
catch.
It was like run the ball with your quarterback, throw chunk plays when they key in on their quarterback run.
Yeah.
Because, when you run with a quarterback...
2 quarterback draws and then throw the ball.
Yeah. The thing is, when you run with a quarterback, like, your numbers are better.
Yeah.
Because you have that extra blocker. That's what everybody says on broadcast, all that jazz. The difference is, additionally, you have that extra blocker, which means they have to commit an extra person in order to match that.
Yep.
And that means you have less help for your wide receivers. It's a really, really cool thing, and that's what, like, Lamar has done really well in the NFL, doing, like, Jalen Hurts to an extent has done really well in the NFL.
It's definitely a viable offense.
Yeah, it's a viable offense. But 20 years ago, this was not a viable offense.
20 years ago, this was unheard of.
It was like Mike Vick, and then even that was looked at kind of poorly.
Well, Mike Vick was just, like, insanely talented.
Yeah. But now it's becoming more of a common scheme.
Yeah, you can scheme for it. I feel like Mike Vick was like, get him the ball, and he kind of just does whatever, man.
Yeah. And then you could do
fights
that
dogs.
Okay. So then we play Auburn next week.
Mm-hmm.
Auburn has not been super good this year, but they've had flashes of playing really well. Like, I think they were beating Georgia for a while.
What?
Yeah.
Auburn.
I mean, in fairness, we were too at one point, but...
Lest we forget.
Auburn is very up and down right now. I don't know. It's a most winnable game left on the schedule.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to see how it goes. But at this point, like, I'm not so sure with all of our injuries how positive that is going to be.
Yeah.
I'm excited, though. I mean, I love seeing us play. I will always watch Vanderbilt football despite its...
And it's always a process.
Yeah, and it is. And the thing is... I mean, but at some point...
We're getting deeper into the process.
Yeah, we're getting deeper into the process. Like, you really...
This is year 3 now.
You have to start stringing together some wins.
Year 4 is like, okay, buddy.
If your guys who you recruited are upperclassmen and you're still not getting close
Here's
to
the
winning...
Thing. Next year, AJ Swan will be a junior.
Will he really?
Yes.
Yeah, wow.
AJ Swan will be a junior. You can't say, well, I mean, the quarterback's, he's young and inexperienced and all this stuff, and, like, they're still, kind of remnants of the old program. No. It's been 3 years. Next year, it'll be year 4. Mm-hmm. So you've got the freshmen that you recruited are now seniors.
Or juniors.
Juniors. And you got all these new guys. You're getting... Next year is, like... especially with this year going the way it went. Next year's rather decisive.
Next year's a make or break year for Clark Lee.
Fully in Clark Lee. I believe in him. The difference that he made was insane because we were not a real football team with Derek Mason. Just the way that the team was ran, based on what we've talked about and heard from these players.
Yeah.
He didn't run a football team. Now we're a real football team.
Now
let's see if we can win, you know?
Yeah.
And we have enough commitment to the program that we're, you know, we can look a little skeptically.
I saw a tweet today, and I was thinking about it, actually.
Yeah.
How do we have Mark Cuban and Jeff Bezos' kid that goes to Vandy, and we can't have the most lucrative NIL deals ever?
Yeah.
Like, those are like two of the richest people in the world.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we should have insane NIL money. With that being said, that's where we're at for football. Do you want to go into basketball?
For sure. So last week we talked about some ball a little bit. If you haven't watched that episode, watch it. Brooke's in it. It was cool. We made some claims, said some things. I've done some more investigating, and
Investigative journalism.
I'm gonna give a little edit. Not a little edit, but like clarification. We talked about everyone we've had in the future and stuff. We mentioned some transfers. I've looked into the transfers a little more.
Yes. Okay.
Far more exciting than I ever thought.
So yeah, give us the update on the transfers.
So
Mr. Basketball.
we have 3 transfers. We got a 6'6" guard, could play the 3 position.
From Kentucky. Welcome to
We've
DC.
got a 6'7" wing.
Getting some length.
We've got like a 6'9", 6'10".
You can play
power
center.
forward could be the center.
You can play power. You can play center at 6'9", 6'10".
Yeah, like Bam Adebayo is 6'9", but he's also
Really?
insanely talented. Yeah,
Bam is only 6'9".
6'9". He's 6'9".
That's insane.
But he's good at basketball.
His
So,
arm,
like,
his wingspan is like huge.
7
Yeah,
foot 20.
I'm sure his wingspan's like 7 feet.
Yes, or easily. But so they Stackhouse has talked about him in like a power forward, small ball 5 kind of thing, which is precisely what we need. I'm not a huge fan of the small ball part of that sentence because we're all small ball. But yeah, another thing I saw, we'll come back to the transfers real quick, but another thing I saw is in an interview yesterday, Jerry Stackhouse said that it's Tyron Lawrence. He's the guy for this year. It's his offense. He has really stepped up in a lot of leadership ways. If you look at like even his numbers, he put up like 14 and a half on the year. And he put up probably like far closer to 20.
Yeah.
22 in the SEC.
Yeah, the last third of the season.
Yeah, his numbers were really, being dragged down in the beginning. So I think if he just does pretty well, that's going to be good.
Here, I'll read off the numbers while you talk.
Yeah. He's discussed Ezra's going to be the one. What they would do at times and what he's interested in looking into
Never mind.
is having off-ball Paul Lewis at the 2. And then
That's
Tyron at the 3.
How tall is Tyron?
6'4".
He could maybe play the 3.
He's played the 3 before. In very small ball,
Yeah,
sets
it's
and
not.
lineups.
It's not ideal. I wouldn't say.
No, I don't think we should ever start a game with, 5'10", 6 foot, 6'4" as our
That's
1,
our
2, and
start.
3.
Yeah.
Especially if
Not
we're
the best length in the
if
world.
we're running like and then 6'9", 6'10".
Yeah.
as our 4 and
against
5.
like Alabama, who has like all of their guys are 6'8" to 7 foot. Like that's going to be a little bit of a problem.
Kentucky or these teams with just physical.
Kentucky recently.
Less so recent Kentucky.
I just-
Alabama
I
is
don't
becoming
know
like
why.
what's more of recent or like historical Kentucky, which I hate to say.
I don't necessarily believe that that's true. They've had success, of course, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's just that everybody on their team is huge for some reason.
I know that's the way I felt about Kentucky and
like-
other Duke. You get these guys that are really good at basketball.
Yeah.
But they're also so physically imposing. You had Brandon Miller, who's 6'8" at the wing. at the 3 spot, and
Yeah,
like
like-
he's not considerably taller than like the power forward.
Yeah.
If we had a guy at 6'8" at the 3, he's gonna be a little bigger than our 4. And then like what shooting guard 6'7", like
I think,
what?
I think they have
What's
a
going on
6'6"
here?
point guard.
Yeah.
And I was like,
They're looking like this year's Spurs, where it's like, what?
Yeah.
Why are you guys so tall?
the OKC Thunder.
Yeah, like,
Josh
what's
Giddey
going on here?
At the point.
6'8" or 9.
Yeah, he's huge.
Magic Johnson was 6'8".
Yeah.
Tall.
I think Magic Johnson is just Mason Plumlee. I think in today's game, Magic Johnson would be Mason Plumlee.
They have a similar skill set.
Exactly. I think it's just the same dude.
But so that was one thing you discussed, and that was it would be cool to see, especially with Paul Lewis's 3-point ability and the fact that he can handle the ball, pass.
Lewis, yeah.
Ball Lewis, love the man. But I look at the transfers numbers, and granted, they're not playing in like the Big 10, Big 12, even.
Well,
they're not even playing in the WCC.
UConn is the Big South, isn't it? Or no. I'm so sorry, but UConn isn't a decent conference, aren't they?
UConn is Big East.
Yeah. Okay, that's
It's like that's not bad.
No,
Big East.
they have Villanova.
They got Syracuse, Villanova,
Syracuse
St.
is
John's.
in the Big East.
Oh,
They're a Big Ten team.
ACC.
Syracuse is in the ACC. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Syracuse is in the ACC
Yep.
with Louisville and a couple other teams.
And Clemson and
Clemson,
Duke and
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Yeah, ACC has historically been good. Less and less now. Big Ten is actually, or not Big Ten. Big East is kind of getting up. It's confusing because like my childhood conferences don't make sense anymore.
Yeah.
Like the Power 5 aren't really powerful.
Pac-12. Wah, wah.
Pac-12 is wah, wah. You just say
wah,
wah,
wah.
But so we got these 3 transfers. One of them, our big man, coming from Connecticut. He is actually the least exciting. He's a really good need. He feels the need for a bigger guy, for depth, given that we have 2 guys who are sort of large, especially losing Malik Dia. Which, like,
What's
come
a
on,
Belmont,
bro.
right?
Come on, bro. Yeah. What? What in the Kendall Cheeseman are you doing? That's a blast from the past, baby.
Yeah, that's some season 2.
That's from season 2, baby. She's a junior now. It's
Wow,
weird.
that's
She's
insane.
old,
Yeah.
running out of time. Better win. But I can't remember his name. He had like a lot of A's. It's, he has 2 last names. The big man from UConn.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't remember his name. But
Isn't he foreign of some kind?
he,
Let me look it up.
I don't remember. He isn't like super obviously foreign. We have a guy from Greece now.
That's who I think I was thinking.
He'll come next. But he put up like 6 points, 4 boards, in like 13 to 17 minutes a game. So like he wasn't used a ton. He's young, so he's not really proven. But he is exciting to have on this roster. What's his name?
Wait, you're talking about the guy from the guy from UConn?
Yeah, what's his name?
Oh wait, hold on, I've messed it up. It's the incoming transfers. It says are Jordan Williams from Texas A&M, Tassos Kamateros from something, then Alan Lubin from Notre Dame, and then Evan Taylor from Lehigh, maybe.
Evan Taylor is a big grab, big get.
Really?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't see anybody from UConn.
Look up the roster.
Okay.
I had it on my phone. My phone's in my denim jacket
Roster.
over there. I ain't trying to get up.
What is he, a guard or a forward?
He's a forward.
Lee Dort, Tassos Kamateros, Carter Lang, Van Allen Lubin.
Van Allen Lubin. That's it.
I said that. He doesn't come from UConn.
Where's Van Allen Lubin from?
It's an L. Whatever this is. Don't know what that is.
What?
Hold on,
Who's calling you?
sorry.
Oh, lame.
That's not good.
So Van Allen Lubin is the guy, I believe. Unless I'm crazy. So like that's nice. That's gonna be good. If he can progress a little bit and be just like closer to 10 points, closer to 6 or 8 rebounds, awesome. That'd be really cool.
Right.
Moving on, we've got that boy Turner.
Yeah.
He's the 6'6" guard forward, and he put up like 14 points, like 5 boards, and like 2 assists on 42% from the field, 43% from the 3.
Wow.
Big.
That's
Big.
insane.
I kind of want him to start. But then you consider Tassos Greece guy, and he put up like 14 points on 40% from the three-point line as well.
We're getting shooters.
With like 7 boards. And it's like, what? This is interesting because I don't know exactly where that puts us with... We've got guys who put up last year more points on average than, what's his name did, you know?
But then again, like
Tyrann.
Ezra, he didn't put up as many points at UC Davis that he did at Vandy.
Yes,
Like,
so he progressed a lot. These guys are already scorers.
So adding that to our team, very exciting. I'm very excited about this basketball season.
I would like to see...
Isn't the first game in like a week?
Tuesday, I think. Or Thursday, I can't remember. It's one of the T days. Commodore. But I would like to see some...
It is 11/7. It is in a week from Tuesday.
Wow. I would like to see Ezra, Tyrann, Tassos.
At the 3?
Isn't
he like huge?
He's like 6'7".
Oh, okay, never mind. I thought he was a 6'10" one.
No. I don't know. Would I want Colin at the 5?
No.
No. Who'd I put at the 5 then?
The 6'10" guy?
He's 6'9", and I don't really want...
Who else do we have?
No one right now.
I mean, Lee
what
Dort's
I would do while we're waiting for Lee Dort to get up to full strength.
We talked about that last episode.
Is I would like a small ball lineup of Ezra, Tyrann, Turner, Tassos, Colin, and just be really perimeter centric. We've got Colin, who's a shooter, Tassos, who's a shooter, Turner, who's a shooter, Tyrann, who's a bucket, gets to the lane, can shoot, handles the ball, and then Ezra, who if he can shoot even a little bit, that's also horrifying.
He's gonna be the best
and he can get to the lane.
Yeah.
With the 2 guys in the backcourt who are just gunners getting down to the lane, and 3 guys...
We're playing the LeBron offense.
Outside...
Playing the LeBron offense.
Come on, man.
It's literally just we're throwing 4 shooters around 1 dominant slasher.
Yeah, you can't go one-on-one taking it down to the paint against Ezra or Tyrann.
Yes, and so you have to
Someone's got to crash in.
And then we have 40%
and those 2 guys are very capable of making the pass, and then maybe the extra pass if they get over there.
Yeah.
It's an open 3.
Yeah,
it's a good game plan. Once you rotate in Lee Dort, you have a dominant paint defender
who can run pick and roll with.
Who can run pick and roll, who can put the ball into the basket in the paint.
Yeah, who's a great rim protector.
That's the thing. The only thing we lack really is defense up high.
Yeah.
Because like Tassos, like we got good rebounders, you know.
Yeah.
Tassos, that one Turner and.
Let's talk about who we play up before SEC play.
Yeah.
Presbyterian, SC Upstate, UNCG, Central Arkansas, NC State, Boston College, Alabama A&M, San Francisco, Texas Tech, Western Carolina, Memphis, and Dartmouth. People that I would think, just based on notoriety of team, that would have a semi-dominant center include maybe Boston College.
Boston College is a pretty good team.
Probably Texas Tech.
Tech's a good team.
And maybe Memphis.
Memphis is good.
But so, I mean, if we have to wait on having our dominant center,
we're going what, like?
I mean, I think we should win almost all those games.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe to Tech.
I don't want to make an outrageous
I'm here to make an
example. But if you look at a team like Gonzaga, when's the last time they've had a dominant big? Like, in terms of pure big man, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest
Drew Timme
big
is 6'8".
Yeah.
He's listed at 6'10". They measured him at the draft 6'8". With shoes.
That's so funny.
Or 6'9" with shoes. But, like, what? And they did really well, obviously. Like, they're good.
Yeah.
Granted, we don't have...
I mean, he's literally one of the best college players to ever do it.
Of all time, yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, if we have these guys, and then we got Paul off the bench... We've got Isaiah West off the bench.
He's our third point guard.
These other guys.
We have Jaqueline Roberts, maybe? He was really heralded coming in. His name is I'll get his name.
And we just...
It's Jaquelin Roberts. I got it right.
Yep, attaboy.
Other people off the bench include... No, maybe I don't know anybody else looking at the roster.
I don't know if I do either. It's
Carter Lang.
Carter Lang.
Graham
Carlton?
Yeah. Miles Keefe.
You guys aren't great.
Collison Messer. Malik Presley. Jason Rivera Torres. We got him as a walk-on.
Yeah.
Evan Taylor. Isaiah West. Jordan Williams. I mean, our forward depth is admittedly a bit low.
Yep. But with the new guy...
Yeah, I think we'll be fine.
Can be better.
I think we will be the fact is that we were predicted at 13th in the SEC.
Out of how many SEC teams, Chris?
14.
Huh.
That doesn't make an ounce
Mathematically.
of sense. It doesn't make sense.
No.
Because we are, as a team, the Vanderbilt Commodores, we were 5th in the SEC last year.
How do you go from 5 to 13?
By losing Liam.
That means that you have to have some pretty monumental team turnover.
We've lost
with
Liam.
No promise in guys you bring in.
Liam is great.
Liam is the SEC Player of the Year when he plays.
Yes. And
we lost maybe 2 months of Liam is what we lost.
We will miss Liam dearly. Do not get me wrong.
He's awesome. Best player we've had.
But we went on our run without him.
Yeah. He came in.
With our team.
And it looked awesome.
Last year, without Liam, meaning we're just burning a roster spot, essentially, we still produced. So now another year of development, some talented people, some talented transfers. I don't understand how you can put Vanderbilt that low without just doing the very classic media thing of just being like, it's Vandy, we'll put them at the bottom. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
And it's frustrating.
It is.
Because they deserve, I fully believe Vandy will finish in the top 4.
Yeah.
Of the SEC.
Yeah, I'd say so. If we were 5 last year, jeez.
And so we'll get that, you get a double bye in the SEC tournament if you're top 4, right?
Yeah.
I think we will get a double bye in the SEC tournament.
I think you win the SEC tournament based on the landscape of the rest of the SEC.
I don't know. I haven't looked at the rest of the SEC. Obviously, things might change.
Yeah,
but I think we would get a double bye. And if you get a double bye in the SEC tournament, you're also in the NCAA tournament.
Probably.
I mean, the top 4 teams of the SEC get in, though.
Yeah,
they get in that, and if that's a horrific year for the SEC if that's the thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, I guess I can run through baseball real quick if you are done anyway.
Yeah, but it's exciting. Get excited. I'm excited.
I'm so excited, and by the time we record next, we'll have a game to talk about.
Quite possibly.
I mean, yeah, it's
on
on
for
Tuesday.
Sure,
yeah, it's gonna happen.
Unless we record, we can't record Tuesday. Never mind.
But. So baseball, not a lot really happened. We had another scrimmage against Wake Forest. And so you think to yourself, dang, Chris. We played in Piscataway, Rutgers, in Piscataway, New Jersey, to play Rutgers last time that we had a scrimmage, and we got blown out. Surely we're going to play against
in Winston-Salem.
Well, no, we played in Nashville.
Oh.
We talked about going.
Sorry, I'm a little bit slow.
Going, but so I did look at updates the entire time the game was going though.
Good for you.
But we played arguably one of the most talented, probably preseason #1 teams in all of baseball.
Yeah.
And so you're like, well, dang, they just lost to Rutgers. They're certainly not going to win this game. And we lost game 1. I think we lost 5-2. The only benefit of that game was that Grayson Carter continued to pitch well.
Yep.
However, games 2 and 3, we beat them 5-2 and 5-3 or something like that. Or we smoked them games 2 and 3, and that was 1, dominant pitching. 2 runs in 6 innings.
Yeah.
When you're rotating through pitchers, that's phenomenal.
That's
Ethan
nice.
McIlvain looks like a stud, apparently.
Who?
Ethan McIlvain.
Ethan McIlvain?
You don't know about Ethan McIlvain?
How many McIlvains are there? 2. No.
Chris and Ethan.
But there used to be...
No, there used to be Chris. No.
I'm thinking Maldo.
Yes, you're thinking Maldo.
Wow, man.
Ethan McIlvain is one of our commits for this year. He was.
Is there another Murphy that I should know about?
No.
Just to complete the trifecta?
That'd be crazy.
That'd be awesome.
But no,
Eddie?
he was our top rated, I think, player coming out of this.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's maybe not true, but he's our.
He's
no, I think he is. I think he is. He's our top-rated player because he was supposed to be like a first or second round pick.
Wow.
And he was like, I'm gonna go play baseball at Vandy.
He's like,
he throws like he's a 97
I want
mile
that
per hour
HOD
lefty.
degree.
He throws like 97 as a lefty.
Jeez.
Like he is going to be a dominant force. And the question is it going to be this year or next year? I think he'll probably do the classic start as a midweek starter, and then work his way into the rotation around playoff time. Like he'll do the Devin Futrell thing when he was a freshman.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to be phenomenal in that role.
Yeah.
I think he will very quickly prove that he needs to be put in higher leverage situations. And I don't know exactly what that is, because I do think that our starting pitchers you have Holton and Futrell locked down. Doesn't really matter who's day one, day two. We have that third spot open.
Andrew?
It might be Dekanich, and I hope it is because he was such a good prospect, and I hope he pans out the way he does. But, that could be Ethan McIlvain. That could be this guy named Andrew Huesman, Huesman. He was the top pitching prospect to not go in the draft 2 years ago, but when he got drafted, he committed to Coastal Carolina as the top prospect.
Okay.
And he didn't do as well. He had some kind of up and down a couple years, and he was like, I got to get my thing back on. I got to make my career back on track. Transferred to Vandy this year.
That'll help.
With the pitching lab. He produces insane spin rates. Like, he could be really good. We have some studs in the pitching department. And so I'm very excited to see how that goes. And on the hitting department, I think Troy Leneve hit 2 home runs. Great guy. Even couldn't happen to a better dude. What was interesting is a guy named Ray Velasquez hit a home run in our scrimmages against one of the better pitchers.
Did we pick him up in Piscataway?
No, he was the only player on our roster last year we had to cut our roster because we had too many guys last year. He was the one guy that got cut. And he's been apparently showing out in fall ball. And so, let's go, Ray. He's back with a vengeance. And so, Ray Velasquez. Yes, and so he's a stud. I hope he pimped the homer. It was over the monster, and he did the bat flip. I was like, let's go, Ray.
This is like that dude that's always on the Titans practice squad.
Oh, Mason Kinsey?
Kinsey.
He's back. He's back. But so that's pretty much all that happened in baseball. It was crazy. Really, really encouraging. Showed some signs of life after a pretty poor showing in Piscataway. And so, at least 2 of our sports are trending upwards.
Yeah.
Which is really, really cool. I'm really excited for basketball season. Talk about that.
No one can stop me.
I'm all the way up. But yeah, I don't necessarily have anything else.
If I had to say anything, it would be follow Show Em The Dore on Instagram.
Wow. I think you should tell all your friends about Show Em The Dore on Instagram, Twitter, X, and TikTok.
Well, Chris, are you ever in a situation where you're talking to somebody and you're like, wow, I just don't, I want this person to know that I have cool interests, but I don't really know what to say. A good talking point in those situations is, hey, have you heard of Show Em The Dore? Mm-hmm. You should subscribe to them. Send them money on Venmo.
I actually plug Show Em The Dore literally anywhere I go.
Me too.
I'll be like, they'll say something about Vanderbilt Sports.
My classes haven't asked for fun facts anymore.
Yeah.
But when they did, I'm like, fun fact, I have a sports podcast. You guys should follow me.
They'll be like, how are you? And I'll be like, do you know that we're the longest sports? They're like, we're the longest student-run sports podcast on Vanderbilt campus. And they're like, buddy, I asked you your name, and I'm like, oh, sorry.
My name is Mr. Dore. You can call me Show Em The.
The's the middle name. But yeah, subscribe on YouTube.
Mr. Dore's my father.
We're nearing 100 subscribers, which is pretty sick if you ask me.
We're tickling 3 digits.
We're never mind. We're meandering about 3 digits. Okay. And that's exciting. I'm very excited to see it. And what's really sad is this season's starting to creep up on us in terms of the end.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I guess I can't graduate.
That's it.
Also follow us on TikTok. I'm starting to post a little bit more because I can't
want
sleep
him to post more
most nights.
Yeah, he has terrible night terrors. He wakes me up.
It's easier if you let me just sleep in your bed with you.
Oh my gosh.
My nightmares subside, but he says no.
No, I want to get rest or whatever.
It's like when you go up
He
to your
grips my
parents-
arm too tight.
to your parents' room as a kid. I threw up.
Yeah, I threw up.
Meet a Chris every night.
Yeah.
But
With that
it's
being
S.E.T.D.
Yes.
We're doing
He posts.
weirdly well.
Yeah,
like
you get like
view numbers. We got like 800 on the one I posted last night, like 2 a.m.
Yeah, we're gonna become a TikTok.
Yeah, like what?
Yeah. That's
If
all
you guys have anything you want to see, let us know. Cause I'm trying to pump out like some nice different things.
I really
before
think that we should.
before I graduate. That is like it's
I'm not graduating.
that's
I'm
it.
failing.
We staying.
Well, with that being said, this has been actually a very fun episode. We're in that nice era where there's all 3 sports to talk
We get
about.
to say so many things. Sorry,
Yeah.
guys.
So we will see you guys next week. This has been Show 'em the Door. Bye.